All right, y'all. It's the Rundown Podcast, and we back at it again. We just saw that Jake Paul and
Mike Perry. Uh, uh.
Jake Paul and Mark Perry. Man, we just saw the fight. It's something entertaining. Yeah, you can't go to hardcore boxing all the time, so you had to see what Jake Paul was working with to see if he's going to actually do anything with Mike Tyson. But how do you feel about the fight, Uncle Money?
Well, so going into this fight, I already knew that Mike Perry wasn't going to win. For those that follow MMA, you guys know who Mike Perry is. Mike Perry fought in the UFC, and now he's the current bare knuckle champion, I believe, in the bare knuckle fighting. So I've watched Mike Perry's career, and I knew what it was going to be when he signed up to fight Jake Paul. Mike Perry, tough as nails, can't knock that. He's a very tough individual, hardcore, is a born fighter. But when it comes down to the sweet science of boxing, Mike Perry does not possess that skill. And as we saw from the fight, he was just getting to eat just with a simple jab, and he kept getting dropped like a toddler that couldn't keep his balance.
Yeah. Mike Perry, he had no head movement. I mean, you could tell it was like one of those YouTube fights. Jake Paul, he's doesn't need to be in the fights with no MMAs no more, or especially somebody who doesn't have at least some kind of boxing experience. Bare knuckle fighting is a little different, but you could just tell he had no head movement. He was very stiff. He didn't know how to. He was putting his hands down low. He shouldn't even be in the ring with them. I mean, really, it was just not a it was a mismatch, but Jake Paul couldn't make short work with him. He had heart. Mike Perry had heart, but Jake Paul couldn't make short work with him. He was knocking him down, of course. He was beating him up. But if Jake Paul would have fought any like professional boxer that had been in the game for a while on a high level, Mike Perry would have been out like first round. So Jake Paul did the
Yeah.
same thing by now. He has been training and he's trying to fight Mike Tyson. I even think Mike Tyson, if he would have fought him, would have knocked Mike Perry out in the first round. But um,
Probably.
it was entertaining though. I can say the whole event was entertaining. We had some upsets. With the H2O getting knocked out, that may even be the knocked out of the year.
Man.
Um, Amanda Serrano, she's gonna, she's gonna do her thing when she fights again on the Mike Tyson card. But Jake Paul, he did his thing. He showed boxing skills. He looked like he gassed out, but he got a second win. Uh, yeah, it was a cool fight. Something nice to watch, something to enjoy your Saturday with. 17,000 17,000 people in the stadium. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's a good that's a good gate right there. That's a nice gate
Yeah.
for a YouTube person
Yeah.
that turned boxer. So
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things about Jake Paul, like you mentioned, he did gas out early in those rounds because he was going for the knockout, and I felt he could have just outboxed Mike Perry and then eventually set it up. I mean, he knocked him out eventually anyway, but he was really trying to go for that knockout. And as you can see, he did gas out in those early rounds, but he caught his second win. And fourth round, he started to box because I
yeah,
mean, it doesn't take much effort for Jake Paul to do that against someone of Mike Perry's caliber. And he
yeah.
boxed and did what he had to do. Mike Perry, I mean, like you mentioned, he's a bare knuckle boxer and former MMA fighter. He didn't have the techniques. He didn't have any defense. He wasn't clinching in those moments. He didn't. That comes
He's
from
a
that
human punching bag.
inexperience that he showed. Yeah, he was basically Rocky. Rocky
Yeah,
Balboa was a punching bag. He was Rocky
yeah.
Balboa.
He had heart. I give him that. He had heart. But
Yeah.
Jake Paul really does need to see those openings. I mean, he really could have threw the overhand right like six times. He could have
Mhm.
because kept on throwing it, kept on throwing it, kept on throwing. It was wide open. Um, just based on Mike Perrin's stance, I mean, he could have just been just all day. But like I said, I digress. I mean, it was an entertaining fight. Other than some professional boxers like Shakur Stevenson, but it was
We knew
it
you
was
had to sneak that one in. You always going to sneak that in there, and I'm always going to support you sneaking that in there. Because
yeah.
when I was watching the fight, I was like, I know AP thinks this is very entertaining because this is coming from you're a guy that you follow hardcore and you're kind of getting into this spectacle stuff of boxing, right? You're kind
Yeah.
of new to the spectacle stuff. Me, I'm hardcore and I'm spectacle. So
Yeah.
I knew you would like this fight.
Yeah, it was cool. It's cool. I mean, it's not even that the knockout. It's just entertaining. I like to see how people throw punches. I mean, best like old school with Sugar Ray Renner, Tommy Hearns. If you won't see their fights, they're just a whole bunch of punches. They throw a whole bunch of punches. There's technique, skill. It's fast chest. It's fast chest. Oh, that's true fast chest. And not saying this fight was fast chest at all. It was like checkers. But other than that, that's what I like to see is just you pay for the fight, you want to see that fight, you want to people pay for those 17,000 people showed up, they want to see some kind of entertainment, they don't want to see like 3-4 punches, they want to see what it is. So congrats to Jake Paul. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that fight right